Everyone. It is my great pleasure to be with you here today. And maybe the first thing is introduce myself. My name is Daniela Gomes, and I head of the development and sustainability team at World Rowing. I think the first thing it would be very nice to actually that we could get to know each other, and because the objective of the meeting is to have everyone take part, obviously, in the question and answers, and also to create this meaningful community that can help each other moving forward and multiply the impacts that we all want to see happen within the world of rowing, let's say. So maybe it would be good if we can introduce ourselves. I can help a little bit and maybe ask Pat Lambert to introduce herself.
I'm Pat Lambert, and I'm a strategic advisor for sustainability in Daniela's and Micah's team.
Thanks, Pat, and it has been really important to have you in the team since 1.5 years to advise us on the best way to move forward. And also, very importantly, Micah has joined us over 1.5 years ago, and it has meant a lot to us in terms of being able to move all the projects forward and also for future. So, Micah, you can introduce yourself, although I think most of the people already know you by now.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. I'm Micah Diekman, and I work now in the Development Sustainability Department with World Rowing with Daniela and Pat. We are a small sustainability team, but it's really exciting what we are currently working on. And I am very grateful that all of you joined today, and look forward to sharing and exchanging ideas as we move forward on our journey with more sustainable events and anything beyond that.
Great, thank you. So we also have some special guests today who will be helping us with their success stories. So today is also a moment to celebrate success stories and also to provide visibility to the ones that have worked to make a difference around the world in terms of organizing events. So Petra, can you introduce yourself?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Petra Schmidt, and I was the sustainability manager of the European Championships in Szeged in Hungary back in April. I have been working in the sport and sustainability field for quite a long time. I started in 2010 in this subject, so yeah, we've come a long way, as they say. But it was a pleasure to work with World Rowing, and I try to use my experience, this wide range of across a wide range of sports. I've been working, like I said, just to give you an example, my biggest project, recent project, was the World Athletics Championships here in Budapest in 2023. Where I was heading the sustainability program. So that has given me and our team here in Hungary a really useful experience, and I try to use that in rowing and in the European Championships. So that's my background in a very short summary, and I'm happy to be here.
We are very happy that you are here, and we are very happy that you were able to also bring this best practices into a World Rowing event. Ambra Hoversi, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, of course. Good morning, everyone. I'm Ambra Roversi. I was the sustainability manager or officer in World Rowing Cup in Varese. I started to work in this world, we can say, last year. So I'm pretty much new in this item, we can say that, but I'm a health and safety manager, so in rowing and in other contests. So I'm very happy to be here with you. So it will be a pleasure for me to share with you our plan, so sustainability plan that we use in Varese during this year. And of course, I'm interested to know something more about your plan. So thank you very much for this moment.
One thing I would like to highlight is in structure terms, development, sustainability has been included in the development department, but actually all the teams and all the departments at World Rowing are highly contributing to sustainability, and it is one of our objectives that this is mainstreamed across the organization in all the projects. So there is a huge amount of work that is done by everyone within the other teams in terms of not only measuring and adopting best practices for our own internal operations, but also the work that different teams do with the organizing committees and with different World Rowing partners, suppliers, and so on. So I also take the opportunity to thank everyone in the staff for their support. And also, I think it is meaningful, and maybe I would like to ask Eva Santo also to introduce herself. If you are available. Eva is the event chair and also a critical person in the organization in terms of World Rowing events. Eva.
Thank you very much, Daniela. So very briefly, I'm chair of the World Rowing Events Commission, and as Daniela mentioned, it's very important for organizing events that sustainability has a high priority for the organizing committees as well. And it's really a great honor and pleasure to work with such a great team headed by Daniela and work together with Maike and also with the events team, all the events managers. And as I'm chair of the Events Commission, my colleagues who are the TDs, the technical delegates for the events, they also try to help all your initiatives to make them come through and realize the event with the sustainability in mind. If you allow me another additional comment, this past year I had the honor to chair the organizing committee for the Szeged European Championships, and I'm really proud of my colleague Petra and all the work she has done and the program that was delivered, and I'm really happy and I think it's really beneficial that she can present here to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eva. Just in the interest of time, maybe I will call some of you to introduce yourselves. Some of you, to be honest, I still haven't had the pleasure to meet in person, but I'm sure this will happen in the next year, I hope. So we have Albert Busquets. Albert, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yes, I am Albert Busquets. I am from Banyoles, Spain, and we are organizing next year the Master Regatta. And I am in the organization committee here in Banyoles for this event, and we are very interested in hearing about all these experiences to take note and to try to organize a very good event next September.
Amazing, thank you, Albert. Andrea Hanner, she's responsible for the World Rowing Tour that has recently been approved by Council for Berlin.
Hello, I'm Andrea Ranner from Austria. I'm working for Tour Rowing, and as Daniela said, the next tour will be held in Berlin in May 2022. And I just came back from the World Rowing Development Tour in Cyprus. I oversee the second week, and it was a really, really successful event. And I'm so happy to be here in the group. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you, Andrea. And we have also Bas.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm Bas. I'm working for TIG Sports, which is a sporting company which organizes a lot of sporting events like the Formula One in the Netherlands and all kind of world championships and European championships. And we will host the 2026 World Rowing in Amsterdam. We did that before in 2015, so we're really glad to do this event again. And we would love to share our thoughts with you to make this event more sustainable than in the past.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I'm sure we will take on that challenge to work together to create very good examples for future in terms of working with OCs.
Hello, my name is Agnieszka, this is Beata.
Hello.
We are from Poland, of course, from Kruszwica. We work in Organizing Committee, and we organized the last European Championships under 19. It was the 1st and 2nd June. And we're glad to join your meeting, and we hope to know something more about the subject, because we hope that we will have a chance to organize maybe next or future Europeans, so it will be very useful for us to know more. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we have Dimitar.
I'm Dimitar and I'm from Bulgaria. During the last championship in 2023, the Under 23 World Rowing Championship, I was safeguarding and sustainability officer. Before that, a COVID officer, part of the victory ceremony for several championships and part of the accreditation center. So I have some good experience in the World Rowing Championships. And I'm ready to support and to help. I hope that we're going to have a good championship in Plovdiv. During the next year in May, it will be an European Championship.
Thanks, Dimitar. It's always a pleasure to visit and to visit and be in Plovdiv with your teams. We have Lithuania, Agne, the NOC, I believe.
Yes, hello everyone. So I am Agne from NOC Lithuania. Well, I work permanently at the NOC, but I'm also the part of the organizing committee of World Rowing Under 19 Championship that will be held next year in July in wonderful city Trakai. So I'm here. Thank you for the invitation, of course, and I'm here to hear the insights and the best practices and to try to make all those things happen also in Lithuania.
Very good. Thank you, Agne.
My name is Timon Bernes. I'm the director of the Lucerne Regatta. Joined the team in Lucerne in summer 2022, and I've hosted 2 World Cups so far, as well as the final Olympic and Paralympic qualification regatta this year on the beautiful Varese in Lucerne, which is part of a nature reserve. So more on that later. Thanks.
Hello, everyone. We are from Poznań, Poland, OC. I'm Adrian, together with Aneta.
Hi.
We hosted a couple of World Rowing Cups and also World Rowing Under 23 Championships, which will be also our event for the next year. So the plan is to host 2025 World Rowing Under 23 Championships. And we are really happy to take part in this meeting, as I believe there is a huge area for the improvements in the sustainability during the World Rowing events in Poznań.
Important to be able to discuss openly not only best practices, but also receive from you ideas so that we can improve within World Rowing and help organizing committees improve on their best practices. This is very important for future. Within World Rowing, maybe it's important to say that we had a restructure in terms of the sustainability, let's say, area. It has been included in development. We have done human resources restructured. We have restructured the team, but the idea is that this is a mainstream across all teams. So we will be working a lot with all of the teams to make better tools and better assistance to all our partners, and also to improve on our own operations. Since 2022, actually delivered in 2023, we have produced our first carbon footprint report. We are working now to also report on 2023. We try to do this as accurately as possible, also to provide an example to other IFs, but also to our partners. And we have hundreds of actions that we are discussing with the teams. We had internal workshops to be able to refine our strategy and to embed sustainability in everything that we do. Last year, we also updated, together with other World Rowing teams, the checklist for event organizers. This is a tool to help you be more sustainable and kind of keep track of the important things that need to be done in terms of sustainability. We have obviously had amongst the over 100 actions been able to already recycle metals. We've launched the Healthy Waters Alliance with the WWF, our biggest partner in terms of sustainability, environmental sustainability, because we want to create more impact around the world. We don't want this to be a theory that is just in Lausanne behind closed doors. We want to multiply impact across the world. So basically, we have launched an alliance with WWF to help this multiplication across countries, together with organizing committees, with member federations, and with WWF national offices. We have also done WWF activation at World Rowing events, and we have developed a very interesting project with the French Rowing Federation called Water Wardens by Rowing. This is water protectors, which has been nominated for the IOC Climate Action Awards in the International Federation category. So we were very proud to have this nomination. It also further motivates us to keep on down this route. And we have actually a rower nominated as award winner in the athlete category. We have been also doing some efforts to increase the number of touching points with our members. And out of these several meetings we had with British Rowing, they were informed of the project. And so one of their athletes also applied and got the award, Imogen Grant. So basically, we were able to work with some of you, and some of you have really done very nice work around sustainability at events. And we have the event reports from your efforts throughout the year. And finally, we also had the first workshop with organizing committees in the beginning of the year, and some other touching points with each one individually. And we will launch up to the end of the year our environmental sustainability online training module, which will target staff, commissions, and so in the first part, internal World Rowing people. So I think this is it for me. I would just like to take the opportunity to thank all of you who have contributed this year, and also those who have taken time and effort to come and present your success stories for 2024. And over to Mike to continue the workshop. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Daniela. I'm going to keep it very quick because we're running behind a bit, and I know that you guys are all very busy. So I just wanted to highlight our website has taken a bit of a, or the webpage for sustainability has taken a bit of a restructure. And this is just, I think, a good point to point out to you. If you want to find more about sustainability, we are looking at updating. Under you go on responsibility, sustainability. We have a whole section on the Healthy Water Alliance over here, which I really encourage you to have a look at if you haven't already. It has all the details on how you could get involved as an organizing committee. You will find the guide over here to download, and it's pretty much a good summary of what we're looking at for this umbrella alliance and how you as an event organizer fits into it. To point out the workflow that we prefer to go through is that you guys get in touch with us, which is already happening. So we're having a webinar. And we then kind of set up a meeting with the WWF office and see if there's any interest within the country that your event's being hosted. And then we take it from there and we see how it goes. Of course, this is all depending on different contexts, and see if any of these offices are interested to work on restoration and protection projects of nature. So I encourage you to have a look at this and just go through this. Guide explains a bit of our overall idea, how event organizers as well as member federations can get involved. And yeah, that we have 2 ambassadors on board, which is great, and some best practice examples already what we have achieved in Italy with Dr. Beach, which was a marine litter program, monitoring program, and so on. But yeah, have a look there and see if there's anything that pops up for questions, and you can always reach out to me. But good to know that all of you understand the framework and the structure of going forward with this alliance and future projects. And then, yeah, I think Daniela mentioned already, going forward, we have now updated events sustainability checklist, which is basically an Excel sheet and has a lot of best practices that we suggest your OC to go through. We don't have anything yet compulsory, and we are, of course, trying to work with you instead of putting a lot of load on top of a lot of responsibilities. So just note that we understand you're working hard and there's a lot of areas you have to cover, and we would like to see how we can help is the easiest way, and having individual follow-up meetings with our department sustainability, with your officer that is working on the sustainability program, that would work for you. So we see how it works for the next year, and we can adapt, of course. But for us, it's just important to learn what works for you and what doesn't. And of course, it's always different with different events. Overall, I think I will hand over now to have Petra share a little bit about the European Rowing Championships in Szeged and what they did to implement good sustainability practices.
Put together this presentation to give you like a best practice of what we could do in terms of sustainability at the European Rowing Championships. I wanted to give you a little bit of background, and I highlighted some points here which I think are really important. And first, I want to say that it was great to work together with people who really believe in this subject, and there was a very strong commitment from the leadership. Eva, who is in this workshop today, I think she was essential in this process. She was the one who approached me because she knew I had expertise in this field. And then I got involved even before the event, because I was fortunate to join one of the workshops organized by World Rowing. So that was very useful for me to learn about the different best practices that they had so far. So another element is that the venue in Szeged is a well-tried venue for not so much for rowing, but for kayak canoe. And I think it was very useful also for an organizational point of view, and also from a sustainability point of view, that pretty much is given at this venue. So we didn't have to use mobile facilities, a lot of mobile stands, for example. And we could use, but I'll get into this in more detail. We could use some of the elements of the sustainability program to other events coming after the European Championships. So that was, from a legacy point of view, I think it really helped. Another point is that because of this venue, and because all the local partners are very experienced when it comes to waste management, when it comes to having hosting different LOCs from different organizations, I think that was very, very helpful also. So if we could move to the next slide. Yes, so we had a very, very limited budget, and we knew this from the very beginning, that we had to be focused. And this is one of my learning points at the end, that, and I really recommend this approach to everyone, that it's better to do less, but to do those things well and to have tangible results. So we focused on areas where we knew that we had the experience, and we knew we had the partners. And so we identified 3 areas. One is waste management. The second one is more the educational, the awareness raising. And the third one is a very specific program that we this goes back a couple of years now, this Goodwill program. And we started with this at the World Aquatics Championships in 22. And it worked so well that then we implemented this program again at the World Athletics Championships. And because it works, we don't have to have World Championships to do this program. We could have this at smaller European Championships and even much smaller events. For example, we did this at the Swimming World Cup. So this is a general program as part of sustainability, as you well know, is the social responsibility. But again, I will go into this in more detail what this Goodwill program means. So in terms of the waste management program, we use the classical, the reduce, reuse, recycle approach. Again, because we have such an excellent partners in Szeged also, and also a team where I will mention this at the recycling part in a second. So in terms of reducing, we focused on reducing single-use plastics mainly, and setting up the water stations in the athlete, in the staff area, media and volunteer areas. We used a total of, I tried to bring you numbers so you can actually see what we achieved. So we used 110 of these balloons. You see those big water jugs that we used. Again, which is very tangible because we don't have to use the smaller the PET bottles. We encouraged everyone to use the reusable bottles. So at the end, we managed to save or reduce single-use plastic bottles by over 4,000 pieces, which, you know, it does make a difference when it comes to recycling and when it comes to producing waste. Again, these might be small numbers, but I think you have to keep this in perspective that this was a relatively small event, especially compared to big World Championships. And I think it does make a difference when we approach sustainability at this level. So if we could continue, the second R of R, the reduce, reuse, and recycle, is the this I mentioned again. I mean, before that, the venue itself allowed us to optimize the use of the different installations, the tents, the mobile. You see on these pictures that there's a very nice stand, a permanently built stand in Szeged, which accommodates the spectators. The fan zone catering tents were on the right hand side on this slide, were reused for the kayak canoe sprint World Cup, which was just 2 weeks or 3 weeks after the rowing event. And the recycling part, this is my favorite part because we get to work with a super professional civil organization, and they have been tested and well tried again at previous sport events, not rowing, but swimming, athletics, all kinds of different festivals. And we know that we can count on them when it comes to event greening and recycling system. And the way they work is that they actually set up their own recycling system, their depot, where they go through all the waste and they select the reusable waste on site. So we set up 15 recycling stations, and we achieved 50% landfill diversion rate. You know, I think this is a good number. Just to give you a comparison, at the athletics World Championships, we did really well, and we achieved almost 60%. A little over 6, actually, to be exact, it was 63%. But I think, like, again, at this level, we collected 40 cubic meters of waste, and out of which we managed to save from landfills half of it. And for the people who are more experts in this field, we used 4 fractions to select the waste into different categories. And if we move, I just collected some pictures for you here, the next slide, where you can actually see this team of, some of them are volunteers, some of them represent these civil organizations. There's Maike there standing and looking at the depot and looking at how this whole system works. And again, the importance of having good local partners is what I want to emphasize here. So if the education part, Daniela mentioned and also Maike, the WWF partnership with World Drawing, and we wanted to activate the local office. I have to say that we were lucky. Because this whole process started relatively late, but we were able to book this date with them, and they were able to come to the event and represent WWF with their educational games, their raffles, the different. You see some of the things that they do, the selfie, the panda selfies. So I think it was very, very successful for the families who came out and got to spend some time there and just learn about nature reservation and water reservation. And I think this is very promising for World Drawing that you have this long-standing partnership with them. And so the local organizing committees, I really recommend that you start this process early on, and you get them on board, and they see. I think we could have done a lot more with them had we had the more time. But I'm very happy that at the end they could come and they could represent this partnership that has been going on. And lastly, I mentioned this Goodwill program already. There is a foundation in Hungary which has been involved in promoting sporting events to disadvantaged children, families. And so the idea is to get them involved, to give them the opportunity to attend these events for free. Like I said, this has been long-standing as well. At the athletics, we had almost 10,000 people come to this through this program. Again, here we had 300 people, mainly children. I think this is an excellent result because most of these organizations are local. Again, these are local children's home, local large families, families with single parents, and basically the goal is to have them come to these events to have them learn about rowing specifically and just educate them about healthier lifestyles. So yeah. This, I think, concludes what we have done. I'm going to repeat this, that whatever you do, focus your resources and try to do less, but try to do them in a way that you can actually have results. Because I wanted to bring it up, and I think it's really important to have on a higher level to do carbon calculations, for example. But I think that's not the responsibility of a local organizing committee when it comes to a smaller event. When yes, we did have carbon calculations at the Athletics World Championships, but I think for local organizing committees, we should focus on the local circumstances and the local opportunities. I've mentioned this, the leadership commitment, and thank you very much for having me, and I'm more than happy to share my experiences in the future as well. And I wish you good luck. I wish you good luck, all of you, for your events. And just because it's a smaller event, just be encouraged that you could still do a lot. So that was my whole point of the presentation, that to get this mentality across. And I you can also approach me individually if you want. I'm available. So thank you.
Thank you, Petra. Thank you. That was really insightful and really good to see. Like you mentioned, you can do a lot. Even though the event is small, it doesn't mean that you've pulled short on any sustainable practices. And I'll open up the floor if anyone has any questions at the moment towards Petra's presentation or anything that she mentioned. We can also discuss this later, but feel free to put up your hand. Otherwise, I will go straight to Timon. It's just important to mention also here that the whole point of having this webinar is that you get to know each other also from OCs to OCs. Like Petra said, feel free to reach out to each other.
So hello from my side again. Thanks, Petra. That was very interesting, very insightful. So obviously the situation for every OC is a bit different depending on the surroundings and also on the legal requirements on site. As you know, the Varese, where we host the annual World Rowing Cup in Lucerne, is part of a natural reserve. So we have a very strict legal web that basically accompanies our event and the things we can do or we cannot do. We do, however, have developed our own sustainability concept, and I think I have a brief summary on this one slide. Basically, our goal is to see sustainability from a bit wider perspective, not just to look at the environmental aspects, because as I have already mentioned, these are really mostly covered through the legal requirements that we have at the Varese. So the room for us to wiggle is quite limited. That doesn't make it less important, of course, to keep an eye on environmental topics, and we do that. I will show you two very good examples on how we successfully managed to raise awareness and make improve the situation for the environment at the Varese later on. Then the economy is for us is part of the sustainability concept because it has the potential to have a very big impact. Finances is important for us. We're an annually reoccurring event, so we need to have stable and long-term planning, sustainable finances that will also allow us to implement long-term measures that will help our event. Of course, we want to try and promote local and regional partners. And we always try to prefer long-term partnerships. And then for me, probably the most important aspect where we can have the biggest impact is the society. We have the lake is not just a nature reserve, but it's actually nested in quite tightly with the population. It's in the middle of the city. So we have a lot of interactions with neighbors, with local community groups. It's quite an invasive event for some. I once heard that so for many neighbors, the Varese is considered as their garden. And when we basically host our events, it's like someone's taking over your garden, which is quite an uncomfortable image. So we're trying to change that to make them feel like they're hosting a garden party. And that's sort of an image that we try and keep pushing whenever we engage with the local community. As mentioned before, I have two examples today on how we try and within the existing legal framework, how we try to further contribute to the environment. One important topic is invasive species. And this is a story that kind of, it really shows how the communication that we've done around the topic of invasive species, both to the outside, but also within the organizing committee, bears fruit. Last week, they removed the last buoy line from the water here on the Varese, and I immediately got a phone call and I got these images sent through from one of the elements that was on the water. And so basically the team that was removing these buoy lines was worried when they saw the mussels that this might be an invasive species that has started to spread in Switzerland and probably also the rest of Europe. And they were sensitive enough to immediately send through this image so we could share it with the authorities and see whether any action was necessary or whether this was actually, if we need to red flag this. So we have, of course, a protocol in place that requires every external boat that comes into the Roadsee to be properly washed, and we have the team on site asking those motorboats, so they need to sign off, basically, really confirming that the boats have been washed. We also try and check that, though obviously we don't have the experts on site, but that's an important measure that we implemented. But far more important is that we raise this topic when we meet with the OC in the briefings. We also talk about it with the volunteers. So we really try and inform as widely as possible because obviously it's a topic that a lot of people are not aware of. And actually even because of the political system in Switzerland, even on the political level, the awareness was not as good as it should have been in our specific region here in central Switzerland. Another example is we have sensitive organisms that grow around the lake. And I heard about a new two-leaved orchid that's apparently very rare that grows around the Roadsee. And I heard this in one of the meetings that we had with local environmental protection groups. So we try and meet regularly with NGOs that are active in Lucerne, whether it's groups that take care of the bird populations at the Roadsee or plants or whatever. So we try and really go as wide as possible, sit down with them, tell them about our plans. In 2024, with the early dates of the event in Lucerne, that was especially important because we were hosting events in the sensitive bird breeding period. And through that exchange, we learned about the sensitive plan. We then had the local authority mark out where they grow so that the construction teams that were, in this case, they were installing a scaffolding close by, that they were aware of this sensitive plants and that they could act accordingly, right? Because it's very easy to imagine you've got a crew of construction workers building up a scaffolding somewhere in the bush. They just step aside to have a smoke or whatever, which they shouldn't do, of course, and then they trample over these sensitive plants. So this was a way of really highlighting these issues and making sure that we do as little damage as possible. Now, obviously, there's these things that we can do, but we will always have an impact on the environment with hosting an international sporting event in a nature protection area. And I think we need to accept that. We will, at least not with reasonable measures, be able to achieve a point where we really can say that, okay, we start building up everything, we host the event, we leave the site, and it's better than before or the same as before. We will always have that negative impact. So I really see it as our responsibility to make sure that on the other side of the balance, we make sure we get as much benefit out of the event as possible, and that we can use that to act as sort of a trade-off. And the positive impact we can have with an international sporting event like a World Rowing Cup or any other World Rowing event is obviously positive impacts on the society, on the community, and also on the economy. So we really focus on that. And I brought a few examples of how we try and set up, again, as well, long-term partnerships and programs within the local community to really make sure we achieve that. So this year, with the first bigger para rowing event hosted in Lucerne, we got together with the University of Lucerne. They have a health management course, and they have a lot of students that are basically learning about how to improve the situation for people with disabilities. So we seized the opportunity to actually offer them firsthand experience in working with people with disabilities, which is something that's very difficult. You can learn a lot through university, but the actual hands-on experience is, especially with people with disabilities, is quite difficult to obtain. So this was really a very good opportunity. So these students could actually get credit points for helping out as volunteers, and they wrote an extensive report about their experience. They also highlighted opportunities for improvement, things that already work very well. So it was really a big win-win for both the students, but also for us as the OC, because based on this feedback now, of course, we can improve the way we deal with all the para rowing related issues on site. We also try and involve local schools and other local community groups. That's really the taking away the garden thing and making it their own garden party. So really trying to create and to empower the local community to take part in the event. Historically, of course, rowing has often a university background, an academic background. So it's sometimes a bit challenging to close the gap, to build these bridges. But we've made very good progress on this, and the key really is to just inform and communicate proactively with the local community. So there's an active local community in the area where the Rote is, with a lot of different organizations. The church plays a role, but there's also non-religious organizations that help with people with migration background, people with drugs or other difficulties. So there's a lot of socially active community groups that take up various roles within the close community around the Rote, and we're really trying to basically get our seat at the table, and just the impact it has for us to be there and say, hi, we're the ones who organize the rowing event every year. Next year it's going to be this and this weekend. That's what's going to happen. That's our plan. And just offer basically an opportunity for them to join, to help out as volunteers, to be part of the event, to contribute with their own program. That really makes a huge difference. And then, of course, that also is a key contributing factor to setting up a functioning grievance mechanism. You can imagine that I think we all know the horror scenario of Ekbelet, where basically, the negative feedback from the community, from Environmental Protection Agency, and then also from the legal side of things, escalated into having basically international rowing events banned. So we really try and avoid that by staying close to the community, making sure we have an open communication channel and a direct communication channel between the locals and our event. And that really helps us to have a functioning grievance mechanism. So basically, we want people to call the hotline during the event when something's wrong, and not the police, so that we can deal with this issue straight away and not have to having shed a negative light on the organization that then, of course, if accumulated, can then start to have negative impacts on the perception of rowing in Lucerne. Yeah, so that's it's maybe a bit of a different approach, but we're really trying to focus more on getting the most out of the event in terms of how we deal with the community, how we work together with our partners, with our service partners, and maybe less on forcing the implementation of costly and often also questionable environmental measures that other big events do, because we just think that with our resources and given the circumstances we have, and of course the legal requirements which we have to follow anyways, this is the most efficient way of contributing to the environment. Yeah. Any questions?
Yes, I see Albert has his hand up.
Albert?
Hello, Timon.
Hi.
Thank you for your explanations. I have not understood very well if you are actually running a program to clean all the material and to avoid the introduction of these invasive species, or you will have to do after seeing this photo you have showed. Are you actually running a program to clean all this material?
So luckily, the mussels you saw in the picture are not the invasive species that we were afraid of. But we have implemented a protocol to have everything that comes into the Rotsee that touches the water needs to be properly cleaned before, or it's material that's only used on the Rotsee, right? That's the protocol that we have in place, and actually we've had it in place 2 years before it became mandatory from the local government, just because it took them so long to set up the laws, the respective laws. Yeah, but so this is very important. I think that you cannot only rely on what the government is asking of you to do. Sometimes you need to proactively go beyond that. And we actually had to get together with environmental protection groups to ask their expertise to be able to, implement the right protocol, because the government officials were not at that point yet. So that was quite. That was a bit special, but in this case, I think for me it's very important to know that we're definitely not risking introducing an invasive species into a sensitive habitat like the Rotsee, because that would be quite catastrophic. Yeah.
Thank you, because here in Banyolas we have this protocol running until 2019, I think, and we face a challenging situation next year because we will be the first place to implement this protocol for a master regatta, as you know, with a lot of participation. So we are a little bit not afraid, but interested in organizing it well. So I have my chance to ask for anyone who has experience in these protocols to share with me in order to prepare a good event next September.
So I can happily share this with you. We have it, of course, also in English because of some materials coming from abroad. What for me was an important learning is that everything that's rowing related, so be it oars or rowing boats, that they do not pose a threat for the import of invasive species, because they're not in the water long enough for things to really stick to the hull, and also they're dried. Usually they're transported and dried up. So basically the risk is very, very small. It's small enough for this not to become an issue.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Timon. I quickly want to come in here because I think this is great that you raised this invasive species issue, because we actually recently had some discussions as well with British Rowing, and they were doing some work in the UK also on invasive species, and it made us really think a bit bigger, because I think it's a topic, like you said, that a lot of people might not be aware of, and it's something that we from World Rowing's sustainability side need to definitely look into, providing a bit more guidance. Like you said, you have to do some investigating and reach out to people, and I think from our side we can do a lot more, and I think I'm putting it on my long to-do list to really put something together there that we can learn from your experiences and help people like Albert when they're organizing an event, and it can be daunting. So I think thanks for raising that. Just wanted to note that we have also realized that this is something that somehow has been always a bit low under the radar for rowing events, and now slowly is coming up. So thanks, Timon.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things that's fairly easy to implement. Doesn't require that much effort because the focus really needs to be on motorboats, motors especially, and then of course if there's other infrastructure elements like pontoons or bigger things like that that are being transported in between different water bodies, then that needs to be considered as well. But yeah, it's. I mean, considering the potential negative impact this can have on an ecosystem, which is really dramatic, I think the measures are quite reasonable.
Yeah, agreed.
Any more questions or comments? Or maybe just one last thing. Our sustainability concept is available for download on the website, and I think that's also an important factor. So the whole communication around it, I really try and seize every opportunity I get to talk about the topic with the members of my organizing committee, and also to try and have an honest and open approach to sharing the information. Yeah, because obviously, you know, in the whole sustainability discussion, greenwashing is a very big topic as well. So it is important that we communicate and that we're proud and we openly and actively communicate about what we're doing. But it's also important that we're honest about the things that, you know, are not yet ideal, or that we still want to improve, or the things that we don't want to improve for specific reasons, because it's just not reasonable or feasible. So yeah, I think that the communication point here is very, very important. Yeah.
Thanks, Timon. Thank you so much for sharing that. Also, we will try to update our webpage with all of the sustainability plans. We already have uploaded most of those that have submitted their plan or have created one for their event, so everybody can see the good work that you are doing. So we really want to try to showcase your work, but also at the same time encourage and inspire other OCs to have a look and see what others are doing. So have a look. All the work is uploaded there that we have received in the last year or two. And I think going forward, not to be frightened, but that we would like to encourage more OCs to write up a report. It can be a short one. It doesn't need to be many pages. We will come up with a template to guide you a little bit more, but to have something practical that comes out of an event so that others can learn and that you also feel very accomplished after what you were able to tick off. So this is something we're working on, and we'll be able to share a little bit more info later on. Okay, I think the last presenter will be Ambra. So very excited to have Ambra share a little bit more about the World Cup in Varese, World Cup 1 this year. And Ambra,
you quite quickly our approach that we use in Varese last April. So as we said, as we said, it's very important to work on the culture. So everyone should be responsible for, protect, restore nature. So we work with all our team and our partners. I'm going to share with you how we work with them. So first of all, accommodation. We worked only with hotels and bed and breakfasts, so on, that they were quite close to us. This was useful to encourage people to use, public transport, for example, or bike path, for example. Each hotel and each bed and breakfast and so on, they had to have their own code of ethics, declaration of sustainability. So we worked with this kind of partners. Then we shared on the website these accommodations of our partners. Then transport. We shared with everyone all the public transport, so I mean buses, trains, and so on, that they could use. We shared also the maps to help everyone to understand where we were located, and compared to the airport, for example, or the city center. We shared also the timetables of the bus transport to help, again, all teams, guests, spectators to use this kind of transport. Then, as I said, close to us, there was and there is a very nice bike path. This bike path can collect each part of the lake and other interesting, areas close to us. So again, we shared the map to help everyone. We underlined that close to us there was a bike rental point. In fact, all members of the team and I'm going a little bit quick, and then I will come back because I want to underline that each member of the staff of the organizing committee use an electric bike. In this case, it's me. I was working like this. So we used to move around the area on foot or by bike, electric bike in particular. So I come back because it's quite useful to note that we had, and we still have, of course, some bike parking for bikes and electrical bikes. So you can see some pictures that I took during the last event. Of course, it's our intention to increase this bike park. Then on the plan, I underlined that there was a specific park for car park for people with disabilities, which was quite close, very close to the event area. You can see it with this map. I identify this point with the yellow point. Then about energy, I underlined on the plan that we tried to use during all the event the natural lighting as much as possible. In fact, on this slide, for example, you can see what time we had the sunrise, what time we had the sunset. So we tried to use the natural light as much as possible. Low consumption LED light bulbs were used during the event. This is another interesting point. Resource management. We use eco-friendly detergents for wash all boats. And another interesting information is this one. In the event area, there were drinking water fountains available to teams, staff, visitor, and guests. As we said, we thought that it was very important to involve as much people was possible. This why I created a QR code. So I shared around the area this QR code because in this way all people could have a look on the sustainability plan or to specific information. In fact, this is an example, but for example, I create a specific QR code to get some information on the transports, on the quality of lake water, on the waste management. I think that was a good idea to share quite quickly all the information with teams, visitors, etc., etc. So yes. About waste, what can I say? We create a clear map. This is the map of all bins. Every day it was clear in our mind how many bins there were present and which kind of bins. This was very important also to have a clear collaboration with a company, because we required an interpretation by specialized operators. They used to work in the morning from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. Through this slide, you can see that we didn't use only specialized operators, but we made a proper teamwork. I mean, we required the volunteers to help us to check every evening the park. So we made sure that the park every evening was clean. Yes. The organized committee will try to minimize as much as possible the amount of plastic produced at the event, for example, by providing all volunteers recyclable and reusable water bottles, for example. Another interesting thing that we did is this one. The organizing committee wants to minimize as much as possible the amount of leftover food. We collaborated with an association of volunteers. They used to work through these bikes, these special bikes. So every day I meet these people. So we used to work with them and the company that used to manage the canteen. So at the end of each lunch, this association used to take all food, leftover food, to provide it to people that need some help in Varese. Yes. What can I say about water and natural management? We collaborate with a local health authority. So we know every year the quality of the water quality analysis of Varese Lake. So it's clear in our mind how we can work in a sustainability way without, create any impact on the water of the lake. We tried to do our best to avoid to create disturbance to the natural environment, as you can see through this slide. We establish also a no smoking rule in the park, in the stands, and the club. So this is an example of sign that we put in place. Social responsibilities. About this area, what can I say? We are organized in 5 different groups, as you can see. So there is a group that is concentrated on management of boats and wharves, award management, boat management, bar, and so on and on. During last event, we involved something like 165 students and more or less 80 people through social media. So we create some, how can I say, model, yeah, we can say that, to ask some help to people that live or work in Varese. And in this way, so through Instagram, Facebook, we create a good channel to, you know, to create a team with 80, more or less 80 volunteers, plus all the students. What else? Last thing that I'd like to say is this one. Every year, at the end of the day, I use to complete this checklist that you can see. So it was my goal, you know, to check these points. So it was important for me to supervise our area and understand if there was something that I or we could improve immediately. So again, I'm going to share with you quite quickly this checklist, just to give you an idea on the different points that I used to make a focus. And yeah, this is what I can say about our plan. So the sustainability plan that we use in Varese. If you have some question, I'm here for you.
Thank you, Ambra. This was a great presentation. I think it shows that you put really a lot of thought and effort into it, and especially like the idea that you had a checklist to kind of go through at the end of the day. So it was a little bit more broken down into smaller tasks, and you had a visual, almost like a visual feedback after the whole event to see what was done and where the things that could be improved for next time. I think it's a great example to encourage the OCs, whoever works and focuses on their sustainability section, that you have a checklist that you can go through and collect numbers and stats as well. And I think just want to thank everybody for the time and that you joined, and Ambra, Timon, and Petra for your presentation. It's been great to showcase all the good stuff that your organizing committee has done and will do in the future. So I think big thank you to you three, and thank you to everybody else who joined the call to learn. And I will open the floor if anyone has any other questions left to us, World Rowing Sustainability, or to anyone that gave a presentation. But feel free to also reach out to us later via email or to Ambra, Timon, and Petra for any other questions directly. I'm sure they are very happy to give you guys any feedback. And from my side, I think that's mostly it. I think what we want to do going forward is to have some individual meetings with the upcoming organizing committee. So for 2025, you will see Jody will share with you mostly the dates for the meetings that we have, individual meetings focusing just on sustainability. And so that will allow us to really just get into a bit more detail. What is your plan going forward for the event? And the best is, of course, to do this many months out so that you have enough time to plan. And of course, to bring in WWF and our partnership, Healthy Water Partnership, early on so that there's enough time to plan. And I think that is it. I think we can be very grateful that we have such a great community, and we look forward to working with all of you who want to make a difference. And yeah, any other comments, Daniela, Pat?
Yeah, I just wanted to, sorry, to congratulate all of you and all the others. You have all those brilliant ideas that we can then reproduce, or not always in the same way, because each community is different, but at least it gives you a very good basis. And listening on the three, there is one word that came back very often, which is volunteers. And their role is really a very, very important one. We saw that as well with other events, be it volunteers from other organizations, as Petra underlined, being volunteers from the OC, but really, this is also a large group of people we can then train and have them as ambassadors for sustainability at our events and later in their rowing club and so on. So enlarge the number of people. And sorry for the noise here.
Thanks, Pat. I agree. Volunteers are a big portion of our events. So yeah, definitely focusing on that. And then also from my side, I think we need to, I like the point that Petra made about rather focus on a few things, especially when you know that you might not have a big team to work on sustainability, and get those things right. And with our help and anyone in your local committee in the community, as Timon was saying, would help. It's I think a teamwork, team effort. And we look forward to seeing what else you're going to be producing and how we can help you. Thank you, Daniela. You want to wrap it up?
Yeah, no, just to mention, I didn't take the chance to mention in the beginning. Obviously, events are a core activity within our community. It is the opportunity for athletes to showcase their performance, and it is very important for the sport. And one of the key issues we have been discussing internally is how to optimize the support we are giving to organizing committees, how to optimize the process. It's all about the process, right? Giving tools and ideas and exchanging, adapting to the needs and the context. The local context is very important. Obviously, there's not a magical recipe to make everything happen from one day to the other. We understand there are time constraints. We understand everyone has a lot of pressure and a lot of things to deliver. So as for everything, optimizing the process is important. So this is something that we are open to improving, and we have some ideas to pilot some projects to be able to optimize the process so that in future we can all be very effective and be also working to respect the local context, which we think is very important. And also, very importantly, make use of the great network we have, enlarge the network to be able to, in some local contexts, to be able to, not just, it is just not about World Rowing and WWF International, it's about what happens in each country and the benefits that we can have together, and in particular in each nation, with the knowledge and expertise of WWF offices. So we understand this is a process. We understand that together we are stronger and we can improve. And this is how we want to approach it. We want to work with you to improve the process to deliver these important events for the future of all, for the future of the rowers and the communities. And we know that we have all of you, and we have an amazing community of rowers, coaches, leaders who want to take sustainability forward and who want to protect the planet. And so we really want to be a part of it, and we want them to be a part of it. So it is more than establishing a framework. It is making sure that we also support enough to make people also take in their own hands and be proud of taking this commitment forward. And I am sure, I will just finish with this, we are stronger together. We are stronger after this workshop, and thank you to the team for organizing, for having shared, for having increased the network. And now you also have the context of each other and our context. So I'm sure we will be more and more speaking more often about this topic. So thank you. Congratulations to the great presentations. It was wonderful to hear from you. we are very proud of you. And for the ones that will deliver in 2025, we are here for you. And from today, you have a stronger network to support as well. So best wishes for everyone.